I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight, but you chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. It is a great day over here in the Ducote household. I hope that you had it as wonderful of a day as I have. I once again successfully earlier today had a minor surgery, and that went very, very well. And also, back in 2004, I had purchased 6 acres of land for $10,000 an acre, and it's selling now for $40,000 an acre, and it's out of my hands now. So, very good day. Also, I want to share with you, if you haven't already saw this notice, please go to the YouTube channel Hotel Charlie 47. That is the name of the new YouTube channel that I started, which will be just history-related stuff, military-related stuff, combat-related stuff, air show-related stuff, and all of it is things that I personally photographed and videoed myself. So we're going to separate things like that from this channel. And on that channel, I will add all these other things that I've had stored in collections of photos through the years of all the different places I've been to around the world that I want to share with you, the American patriots of this country. So the YouTube channel is called Hotel Charlie 47. Check it out tonight and subscribe to it, please. Ring the bell. If you have already done so, please do that to this channel too. Somebody that's not having a good day today would be former President Donald J. Trump. Look, they went after this man before he was elected and have never let up, and there appears to be no let up in sight. The Supreme Court has denied his motion to allow Special Master Raymond Dory access to review the approximately 100 classified documents seized by the FBI in its raid of his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. In a brief order, the Supreme Court ruled the application to vacate the stay entered by the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit on September 21st, 2022, presented to Justice Thomas and by him referred to the court, is denied. I don't know what he's going to do next with that, but we'll see. If that wasn't bad enough news for him, then today the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021, a U.S. Capitol attack voted to subpoena former President Donald Trump for documents and testimony during a high-profile public hearing that took place today, which was supposed to be the final day. They were going to wrap it all up, and this was it. It was going to be over with. And somehow last night they decided, no, we're going to continue this charade because, we still got midterms. We need to spare them as much as possible. The unanimous vote marks a significant escalation by the panel that will set up a showdown with the former president. It is not expected that Trump will comply with the subpoena, but the action serves as a way for the committee to set down a marker and show that it wants information directly from Trump as the panel investigates the attack. The vote took place at the end of Thursday's hearing as the panel made the case to the American public ahead of the midterm elections that Trump lied about the outcome of the 2020 election and spurred on a violent mob of his supporters to attack the Capitol. It's our obligation to seek Donald Trump's testimony. The panel's chair, Representative Benny Thompson, a Mississippi Democrat, said ahead of the subpoena vote during the hearing. The need for this committee to hear from Donald Trump goes beyond our fact-finding, he said. This is a question about accountability to the American people. He must be accountable. He is required to answer for his actions. He is required to answer to those police officers who put their lives and bodies on the line to defend our democracy. He is required to answer to those millions of Americans whose votes he wanted to throw out as part of his scheme to remain in power. The subpoena will surely trigger a prolonged court battle over Trump's possible compliance, which could even outlast the committee itself. Republicans have pledged to shut down the Democrat-run panel if they retake the House majority in the midterm election, which is right around the corner. Trump has previously derided the panel as an unselect committee of political thugs and hacks and said its members are evil, sinister, and unpatriotic. He has also complained that the committee's partisan kangaroo court proceedings have allowed no due process, no cross-examination, and no real Republican members of witnesses to be presented or interviewed, which in a way is true. All they want to do is hear from people that will say negative things about Trump, even people that were there in the inner circle that have information that refutes everything they're talking about. But they don't want to hear that. So I see this really, if I was in his situation, I'd be more than happy to go testify in front of this committee to set the record straight. Let them attack me. Because this is the only time that every news network of planet Earth would tune in to that damn committee. Because nobody else is. Nobody's watching it. It's been dead on arrival. I've been reporting on it. Many other people have been reporting on it. But that's about as far as you get. But if he agreed to this, it would be magical. It would probably be the best decision he could possibly ever make. And if you don't have anything to hide, which he claims he doesn't, this is a wonderful opportunity to slam them and put them in their place. Or, who knows? I'm not in his head. I wasn't there. I can't tell you that. But when it comes to being in somebody's head, that's what tonight's show is about. Tonight's show is about mental health and the current president of the United States. Yesterday, he basically made the most outrageous statement that he could have possibly have made, which proved to anyone that listened, anyone that watched it, that he's mentally not all there. I'm not making fun of the man. I don't make fun of mental illness. It is a serious thing. This happens when we get older. Some people worse than others. I know people that lived to be 100 that were mentally all sane the whole time up until the day they died. My next door neighbor died at 96, I believe it was. And she was as sharp as a tick all the way up until the moment she passed. But that's not the norm. Most people, as they get older, do start suffering from certain things such as dementia. And we've watched this train wreck that I've referred to as basically elder abuse for his handlers to allow him to continue to go in front of a camera and a microphone and say things that are just outrageous and not true. And just, it's not even about fact checking. It's about what's going on. What is happening that puts you in a situation where you think you can say something that's complete lie and get away with it, unless it is truly a mental illness. And I believe that is the case here. So we're going to talk about all the things that have been happening in Joe Biden's mind that we know about. And this is just a brief summary. Lord knows I could go on about this for a long, long time, but we don't have the time to do so. Let's start with this. Some of Biden's dishonest statements are political, such as the time he claimed the economy had 0% inflation during July when it was actually 8.5%. Maybe it was political. Maybe it's because he's just not all there. Other times are wildly exaggerated tidbits about his personal life. He often botches key details, misremembers dates, and sometimes seems to make up or embellish tales about his past. So, is he a pathological liar, or is it a mental illness? He has falsely claimed he was appointed to the Naval Academy, dishonestly said he was arrested in South Africa, misleadingly bragged he was arrested during the civil rights movement in the United States, inaccurately claimed he was once a professional truck driver, and oddly claimed he was sort of raised in a Puerto Rican community home. All of which are not true. Is it a lie, or is it a mental illness? Biden sometimes repeats multiple times these stories, often growing bigger with each exaggerated version of the actual event. He declared this week that everything was ruined from the basement to the attic, and we almost lost a couple of firefighters when lightning struck his home 15 years ago. However, the Associated Press pointed out no one was injured in the small fire that was contained to just his kitchen and under control within 20 minutes by the fire department. Greg Price, a senior digital strategist for X Strategies, put a spotlight on Biden's fire falsehood by sharing footage of the apparent exaggeration. He believes Biden has spent his entire career lying, but regularly gets a pass from the mainstream media. He constantly lies with impunity and for no apparent reason. He said he finished at the top of his law school. We all know that he finished at the bottom. He had to drop out of the 1988 presidential race due to plagiarism. He keeps saying he was arrested during civil rights protest. He said he was arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela. He insists inflation is at or near 0%. He says there's no recession. And he says the border is closed. Yet we all know that these things are not true. So, is he a liar? Is he a pathological liar? Or are we dealing with mental illness? So I took the time to go over just a few of the outrageous things that have come out of this man's mouth in the recent few years. And you decide for yourself if this is a pathological liar or is it a mental illness? On September 3rd of 2019, in an NPR interview, which you can see right here on the internet, you can see it right here on YouTube. In fact, everything I'm about to read to you, you can look up and watch it right here on YouTube and see him saying it. Or if it's a tweet, you can go to his Twitter account and look it up and see it for your own self. September 3rd, 2019, in an NPR interview referring to the Iraq War. Immediately, the moment it started, I came out against the war at that moment. That's not true. We all know it's not true. We watched what he said. We watched him support it. We watched him vote for it. On September 12th, 2019, in a Democrat debate, he says the Obama administration did not lock up people in cages on the border. Trump is responsible for doing those kind of things, and Republicans are responsible for doing those kind of things. And of course, as the facts came out, all of it was done under Obama Biden. They're the ones that were responsible for all those cages with illegal immigrants. Some men, some boys, some girls, some women in cages. And of course, when Trump became president, they were all, look, he's putting people in cages. No, they're already there, put in by the prior administration. For 8 years, they put people in those cages. And the mainstream media didn't say anything. On May 22nd, 2020, in an interview on the Breakfast Club radio show, he said, the NAACP has endorsed me every time I have run for office. The NAACP came out and said, that's a complete and utter lie. We never said that. Is it a lie? Is he a pathological liar? Or is this a mental illness? On May 21st, 2020, in a video, you weren't allowed to own a cannon during the Revolutionary War as an individual when he was talking about Second Amendment stuff. It's not true. You could own a cannon. You could own any kind of gun. If it fired a projectile, you were allowed to own it. It's Basic History 101. On July 22nd, 2020, in a SEIU roundtable discussion, Biden said that McDonald's makes all their employees sign non-compete contracts that you cannot go across the street and try and get a job at a Burger King, for instance. It's not true. McDonald's came out and said, we don't have anything of that nature. We don't make people sign anything saying they can't go get a job somewhere else that they won't do. September 2nd, 2020, in a speech in Wellington, Delaware, he says he was the first person to call for invoking the Defense Production Act. Not true. That's been happening for years with presidents. On September 9th, 2020, in a speech in Warren, Michigan, he said, quote, COVID has infected in the U.S. military 118,984 members. Not true. And the military members that have died of COVID, 6,114. And of course, we all know that the Department of Defense came out and said that they don't know where he got those numbers from. On September 17, 2020, in a CNN town hall, he said, if Trump had done his job from the beginning, all the people would still be alive that got COVID. All the people. I'm not making this up. Just look at the data. We watched this whole pandemic play out right in front of our TVs. Hell, for months, we couldn't even leave our house. All we could do is watch it on TV. Is he a pathological liar? Or is it a mental illness? Trust me, as we go on, you're going to find out that he may have lied a lot in the past. I'm sure he has, because he said some shit that's just like corn pop, for instance. Okay. I mean, it's just absolutely not true. But by the time we're done here, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It's a mental illness, in my mind. On October 5th, 2020, in an NBC town hall in Miami, he said, during the Obama-Biden administration, we gave 18,000 people clemency from prison. Not true. Didn't happen. They didn't let 18,000 people out of jail. On October 10th, 2020, in a comment to reporters, Senate Republicans moved to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court in an election year is not constitutional. Have you read the fucking Constitution, for crying out loud? It's not true. October 15th, 2020, in a town hall. The Boilermakers Union has endorsed me because I sat down with them and went into great detail with leadership about exactly what I would do if elected. And then the Boilermaker Union came out and said, we're not sure what country of Boilermakers he went and met with, but it wasn't here in America. October 25th, 2020, in a 60-minute interview, he said, I can send every qualified person to a 4-year college in the state that they live in, and it will only cost us $150 billion. Does nobody, I don't know, if somebody put this on a teleprompter for him and he just read what it said, then shame on them. But there ain't a snowball's chance in hell that you can send everybody that wants to go to college in every state in America for a 4-year degree on $150 billion. That's just insane. February 16th, 2021, in remarks at a CNN town hall, he said, if we kept the minimum wage indexed to inflation, people would be making $20 an hour right now. He failed economy 101. May 3rd, 2021, in remarks to the American Families Plan for vaccine rates among Americans 65 and older, there's virtually no difference between white, black, Hispanic, and Asian American. Total lie. The CDC said, we don't know where he got that from, but it wasn't from us. June 23rd, 2021, in a White House announcement, he said, the Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. It's not true. And to all those on the left and the Democrats that are talking about all the lies that Trump told, what do you have to say about what I'm reading here? And I'm not even going to touch the surface of all the things coming out of this man's mouth that are just not true. Is he a pathological liar? Or is it a mental illness? August 20th, 2021. In remarks, he said, Al-Qaeda is gone from Afghanistan before he pulled our troops out. And thankfully, some in the media, to include CNN, did go to the Pentagon and go, wow, y'all did this? And the Pentagon went, we're not quite sure where he got that from, but no, they're not going from Afghanistan. December 1st, 2021, in remarks at the White House, he said the number of small businesses are up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Another falsehood. November 30th, 2021, in a conversation at a technical college in Minnesota, he said, I used to drive a tractor trailer. He was never a truck driver. December 12th, 2021, in an interview with Rita Brave of CBS, he said, I've been against the war in Afghanistan from the very beginning, in which we know he wasn't. He was for it. January 11th, 2022, in a speech in Atlanta, he said, as a youth, I got arrested protesting for civil rights. There's no record that he was ever arrested in his entire life. March 1st of 2022, in his State of the Union address, he said, I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. Why are you saying things like this? Are you a pathological liar? Or is this a mental illness? It's not true. He's been to Iraq 3 times. Afghanistan once that we know of. April 11th, 2022, in a press conference, he said, you couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed. And as I've already told you, that's not true. May 12th of 2022, in a tweet on Twitter, when I took office, there was no vaccine available. We all know that the vaccine was produced, funded, and made available under Trump's leadership and was already in process of vaccinating people all across not just America, but the world. And trillions of dollars have been made off of this by the pharmaceutical companies. June 2nd, 2022, in a speech, he said, gun manufacturers are the only industry in the country that have immunity from lawsuits. It's not true. And folks, here is the straw that broke the camel's back, where all of these things I read, and trust me, there's many more, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. You can look it up. It's all over the freaking internet. Yesterday, if this doesn't prove to everyone listening to me that Joe Biden is suffering from a mental illness, then I don't know. You don't know shit about anything. In fact, I'd be scared to even be around your ass if after I read his words here, you think this is not a mental illness. And I'm no doctor. Got plenty of them in the family. Not me. But I can tell you this much. What he said yesterday is absolutely crazy. And it seems like nobody in the media gives a shit that he said it, which is the saddest part about all of this. When Trump was in office, all they talked about was he's a liar. He lies. He lies. He's told 10,000 lies. He's told 20,000 lies. He's told 30,000 lies. I don't know where they come up with all these numbers. But yesterday, he said, my son, Beau Biden, died while serving in Iraq. My friends, Beau Biden died right here in America in 2015 of brain cancer. His son, Beau Biden, died in 2015 right here in America from brain cancer. And his father, the leader of the free world, said yesterday, while dedicating land and a monument to federal property to be a federal statue for making it federal land and protected, said that his son Beau died while serving in Iraq. So I asked you, is it a mental illness? Is he a pathological liar? Is it a combination of the two? Because if you go back and you look right here on YouTube, just type in the search block, Biden gaffes, and listen to the things he has said as president, while running to be president, as vice president to Obama. And you can go back and look at shit for years as a member of Congress, saying things that are absolutely not true. I've talked about mental illness a lot in my show and in videos because it is a problem we have, not just in America, but across the globe. And most of the times that I direct my focus on mental illness, it's because of those that pick up a gun and use that gun illegally to kill innocent human beings. That is a mental illness. They know they're an adult. Anybody with any sane mind would know that you can't just go kill people. You can't walk into a school with an AR-15 or an AK-47 and kill all the little children. You can't do that. That's against the law. All these gun-free zones where all these people go and do these crimes. Some aren't in gun-free zones, obviously. Most are. Anyone who, on purpose, injures or kills another human being for sport, one way of putting it, I guess, is mentally not all there. But yet, we blame it on the gun. Not you and me, but the Democrats and the left. They want to ban all guns, which is never going to happen. Never. If I could wave a magic wand right now, and all guns in America were banned for the remainder of planet Earth before it implodes into the sun in hundreds of thousands of years from now, there will always be guns available, and there will always be people using guns to kill other people. And when guns aren't available, if they weren't available, if we can wave a magic wand and make them all disappear tonight, every gun in America, boom, gone. We got people stabbing people, taking cars and running people over. Hell, more people die being stabbed with a knife than shot by a gun. We've got people that flew airplanes into the Twin Towers, into the Pentagon. You don't need a gun. We've got people that die at other people's hands. Thousands a year by just being punched in a fight. What are we going to do? We're going to ban knives? Ban fighting your fist? Ban flying airplanes? Ban driving cars? If you can't get your hands on a gun and you are mentally insane and you want to go kill people, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter what law you pass or what you ban. Human nature is got its ups and downs, my friends. But the left and the Democrats don't want to look at mental illness. And right now is a prime example of that. The leader of our country, I don't think he knows where he lives. I'm not sure if he really knows he's the president. For Christ's sake, he just said yesterday that his son Bo died while serving in Iraq. His son, who died in 2015 right here in America of brain cancer. But Trump's the crazy one. Trump's the liar. Republicans are liars. I'm not saying that Trump didn't say some lies. I'm not saying that Republicans don't make up some shit in the House and Senate. Lord knows, if you watch my show and you watch my videos, you know that I've called them out regardless of political party. If you're lying about shit, I'm going to be on it. And that's what I do. Sometimes I wish I didn't. Because sadly, I see the world different than a lot of people see it. I saw the world through the eyes of law enforcement when I served. I saw the world through the eyes of a military soldier. My eyes. And I see it now with all the things that I report on, that a lot of you have never heard before because it's not being reported by the mainstream media. It's picked up by little independent people that still do journalism the way it's meant to be done, without bias, and talking and actually talking about the problems. So I see things in a way that sometimes I wish I didn't. Sometimes I wish that this didn't affect me the way it does. At the rate we're going, not only am I worried about our country, but I'm worried about future generations. We can go back and we can look at history of the world, and we can see what's happened to every great nation and how they have fallen. And here we are. And if you think that we're having things go very well here in America, you're either clueless and you don't pay attention to shit, or you're a freaking millionaire and it doesn't bother you. You know, gas prices under Trump were low. Under Biden, when he came in, he shut down the pipeline. He started attacking oil and drilling, federal lands, Texas and Louisiana and Alaska. And gas prices started shooting through the roof, and we were paying outrageous prices. We still are paying way more than we were just 4 years ago. But then they started going down. And guess what? Before you go vote on midterms, mark your calendar that on 10/13/2022 at 8:41 p.m. Central Time, Douglas Ducote told you that you're going to be paying almost double in gas prices when you go to vote in November than you are right now today. It's about to get stupid. You think it was stupid for the past couple of years? Watch. Joe Biden went and he begged Saudi Arabia and Middle Eastern countries to sell us oil and gas and start producing more oil and gas so we could stop it. And once again, make us dependent on the Middle East. Trump got us away from that to where we weren't being held hostage to people that don't like us. And Saudi Arabia just said, hey, Joe, that just happened, my friends. Not only are they not going to abide by what he asked, which is ramp up the production, but they said we're going to reduce the production. So if you shut down and you want to go all green for electric cars and solar panels and windmills, let's say we could wave that magic wand and tonight everybody's got a battery operated car to drive tomorrow. Well, if you live in places like California who just banned gas cars and said that they're changing everything over to electric, then turned around the next day and said, oh, by the way, if you have an electric car, you can't charge it right now. In fact, you can't charge it for the next couple of weeks because the grid's going down. How's that going to happen? You can pull up to a gas pump, traveling anywhere in America, and typically within 10 to 15 minutes, you're back on the road again with a full tank of gas. Do you know how long it takes to charge an electric car? How the fuck are we going to do that? If I could wave that wand tonight, and tomorrow we all have electric cars, do you realize the gridlock that will happen to this country? To not just the cars, the buses, trains, airplanes, taxis, everything. They want to get away from gas and oil. And gas and oil is needed to produce what? Batteries. But yet these idiots continue down this path of destruction right in front of our face. And the mainstream media doesn't hold them accountable and doesn't fact check them and go, what the hell are you talking about? Anyhow, it's mental illness is not anything to laugh at. It's something that many Americans, especially if you're around my age, I'm 60, but if you're in your, hell, if you're in your 20s, you probably have a grandparent that's, has a mental illness. 1 in every 2 or 3 people in America know someone in their family that has a mental illness. Most of it due to age, dementia setting in. It's nothing to laugh at. It's a true problem in America and the world. And we have a president, the leader of the free world, that just told the world that his son, Bo, died serving in Iraq. It's nothing to laugh at. It's sad. To allow this man to continue doing this, I blame his wife, Jill Biden, Dr. Biden. Seriously? Jill, you're okay with the laughing stock that your husband has become by those that want to laugh at mental illness? This is wrong. Now, the flip side of that is, what do? If you remove him from power, well, shit. If they did it tonight, that puts Kamala Harris as the president and Nancy Pelosi as the vice president. And then you think we're fucked now? You ain't seen nothing yet. She laughs at anything and everything. If she's asked a question that's tough, her first response is to laugh. Even when it's something that's sad. Even when it's something that's, when she was questioned about the border agent that was killed. And she was like, things like that happen, and we gotta remember that, that on the border, we have this border between America and in this country called Mexico. That's a really nice country, and they sell these big round hats, and they have these Chihuahua dogs, and they drink Corona beer, and she just goes off of. It's like she has a mental illness. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about what's happening to this country. There's nothing funny about watching our president say shit that is just not true and sickening. It is what it is. This is what we have to live with today. We have the Republicans saying that if they do win back the House and Senate, here coming up in just a few weeks, they're going to go after all these bad players that you've watched for the past 7 years do things to destroy this country. For instance, Christopher Wray over at the FBI, the director of the FBI, his ass better go ahead and just retire now, because they will do everything in their power to make sure he is removed from the FBI and doesn't get his pension, because he's weaponized the FBI against conservatives and Republicans. That idiot in charge of Homeland Security, it says the border's secure, that says he's going to punish border agents for whipping illegal immigrants on horses with whips. after knowing that that's not what happened and that's not true, and he's still freaking pushing forward to have him disciplined, he's out of there. Merrick Garland up at the Department of Justice, the AG, resign before midterms, retire, or you're screwed because you won't have a job left. And then absolutely nothing as far as Green New Deal, as far as anti-police, as far as anti-border, none of that shit is going to go to the president's desk. It will all become gridlock. And that's the only freaking way to save what's left of America before we elect a new president. And all I can hope for and all we can pray for is that when people go to make that decision, when people go to actually vote, they don't vote on party only, and they actually do their homework. They don't listen to people like CNN or MSNBC or their next door neighbor or a parent who just says one thing and they just believe it. How many times have I said, for those of you that watch this show on a regular basis, how many times have you heard me say, if you doubt what I'm saying, do your homework. Look it up. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Look it up. Research it. And trust me, it's not an easy task most of the time. I spend more time, not with my wife and not with my children, but researching shit to do this show in between shows to make sure I'm giving you factual information so I don't have an egg on my face. And it's like pulling teeth from a freaking tiger in a cage. Just you and the tiger and a pair of freaking pliers. It's difficult to do because there's so much out there. The far left is spinning the crap out of shit. And guess what? So is the far right. It's so complete and utter nonsense. And you have to weave your way through all that crap to figure out who's telling the truth and who's a freaking liar. Or in Joe Biden's case, a mental illness. Anyhow, it's time that we, as Americans, start taking mental illness seriously. Even if we win back the House and the Senate at midterms, and let's say we win back the presidency and we have all three branches of government, we still have to go fix this problem or address this problem. There's no fixing it, obviously. But you can't ban things that aren't the problem when it's the person with the mental illness. And that has to be addressed. And we have to be able to help those that are in need instead of making fun of those that are in need, which is happening way too much. You had many places to be tonight. Chose to be here with me. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. Remember, go to the new YouTube channel, Charlie Hotel 47. And you're going to see some really cool stuff that I've videoed or I've taken pictures of throughout my life. I've always loved photography. Everywhere I've been everywhere I go, I typically don't leave the house without a camera. I love taking photographs. and I love videoing stuff. And at that channel, I'm going to share that love and that passion I have with all of you. And we will separate it from this channel. And that channel will all be about American history that I have personally witnessed and taken pictures and videos of. My combat operations. I had a camera with me on every flight I ever did in the military, even in combat zones. Everywhere. When I was in Panama, when I was in Desert Storm, when I was in Golden Pheasant, when I was in Iraqi Freedom, everywhere I've gone, every deployment I've gone, I've taken pictures and video. And then I travel around the country and some places of the world for that matter, and have taken pictures and videos of really cool things that are part of our history. And there I will share that stuff with you, because I believe that everyone needs to be able to witness the things that I've been able. It's a blessing. I've been blessed to have traveled almost every state in America and almost every country on this planet, photographing it and videoing it. And now I want you to see what I saw and share it with your family and friends. And it's a great, great teaching tool for our youth. Because if we erase history, we're bound to repeat history. And we can't let that happen. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our Angel families, our Blue and Gold Star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America more now than probably ever before. Do we need God to be a part of what is going on here? Anything breaks between now and next Tuesday's show, I'll be sure to do a video about it. There will be videos uploaded at the new YouTube channel, Trolley Hotel 47. And I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone, and God bless you.